What's going on, bottom line viewers? It's Mitch here with the whole gang. It's AC, Dilly Vanilli, and Kevil from the library today. We are here for our NFL Conference Championship picks and preview for both games. Who is going to make it all the way to Super Bowl 52? Honestly, it felt like just yesterday it was Super Bowl 50. We're already at Super Bowl 52. One step closer to Super Bowl 100, but we'll get there eventually.
God.
Maybe Tom Brady will still be playing in Super Bowl 100. We'll see. We're going to talk about Mr. Tom Brady versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. We're going to be talking about AC's Eagles. I see he's eagled out over there against the Minnesota Vikings.
Against Dylan's Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah, against Dylan's Minnesota Vikings. He's, Dylan, that NFL Network commercial with the Seahawks, the Atlanta Falcons fan. They open the closet and there's a big... There's a big Seahawks thing. Yeah, so Dylan, he walks into the closet, and there's just this big Adam Thielen poster.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, totally. Yeah. I bought all of them before they were coming out, They started selling them last year, so no, not true.
Okay, we're going to get everybody's thoughts on these games. We have previously barely discussed these games. I have no idea who you guys are talking about. It's the nice thing about doing this on a Tuesday that you really have no idea on who's picking who, so that it's right at the beginning of the week. So all the stats and everything, we've been flying these crazy statistics out about Dion Lewis doing this and who's reffing the game and all this madness. But we're finally going to get a chance to debate and talk about it. So we want to hear from you guys. Of course, hit us up in the live chat. What do you guys think? Who's going to win? Is it going to be Patriots or Jaguars, Vikings or Eagles? Let us know in the chat. And, let's get into it, guys. What game first is more intriguing to you on paper? And also, what are you always most excited for when it comes to Conference Championship Sunday?
This is always the interesting week. We're in here, AFC, NFC Championship game. Guy, that's just how I've grown up as a Cowboys fan. Obviously being Minnesota Vikings on the other half, I kind of watch the NFC a lot, so I'm more into that. Plus, it's a later game. I always like the later games a little bit more than the early games. But I think both matchups are both intriguing. I think the better one is the Vikings and Eagles on paper. I think it just serves as a good matchup for both, and I think it'll be a very close game. Patriots Jags, I've got a lot of questions. I don't know if the Jags are going to be able to keep up. I obviously don't think they're going to score 45 points as they did last week. But I just have a lot of questions as to whether or not the Jags are going to put up a competitive battle or not. You never know. But I still think it'll be two entertaining games leading up to the Super Bowl. So I'm intrigued with these games.
Yeah, both of them. Obviously, I'm intrigued by the Eagles-Vikings. If you look at the other one, yes, we kind of thought maybe Jacksonville would play the Pats, but I think a lot of us were thinking maybe 3 weeks ago that it would probably be this past weekend that they played at some point, right? Before that kind of Steelers fell off somewhat of a cliff. And obviously with the Vikings-Eagles game, this is a game we wanted to see all year long. When Eagles were the first place team and having a good record in Minnesota, just one game behind most of the season. Even with Wentz, still people thought the Vikings were the better team. I think the Eagles have a lot to prove. So this is a better matchup just because it is 1-2 regular season. You know what I mean? The same record, similar style of team. I would say the Vikings defense is better, but I think the Eagles defense, their front seven is going to cause a lot of problems. And then look at the two backup quarterbacks taking over their team, and now one of these backup quarterbacks is going to be playing in the Super Bowl. So that's pretty fun. And I just like it as an Eagles fan that we get to, if we win, we prove that regardless of Carson Wentz, we were the best team in the NFC all season long.
I think they're both intriguing for different reasons. I think this is a really good opportunity for the Jacksonville Jaguars to make a statement, win or lose. I think that we'll talk about. I have some opinions about the Jaguars that are probably going to make you scratch your head, which is not surprising.
That's very surprising. No,
we'll see about that. But the Vikings and the Eagles. I think that's going to be the lower scoring game in a lot of ways. So I think that may go down to the wire a little bit more, but I think the way that the Patriots and the Jaguars, that offense versus defense, I'm intrigued by how Brady and that defense will play. I think that's going to be a lot more exciting than people realize.
Okay. Yeah, for me, obviously, Patriots fan. Looking forward to the big game versus the Jaguars. It's always this thing where I'm always intrigued to see, Tom Brady versus a great defense. That's always been a story. And throughout his career, how does he face these great defenses? Some of them have beat him. Most of them have fallen. We'll see if the Jaguars rise to the occasion. And also the wild card of the great Blake Bortles as well in that game. And then for the Philadelphia Eagles, Minnesota Vikings, similar to what AC said, it's the backup quarterback show. I don't think anybody would have picked this before the season, especially with both backup quarterbacks in this game. And you look at two teams that have a similar season story, losing both their quarterbacks, Vikings losing their running back, and, the Eagles and them both colliding in the NFC Championship. And it seems like in a wide open NFC, we really did see the two best teams make the conference championship instead of sometimes we see the best quarterbacks or the best coaches or the best offenses make it. But I felt like in the NFC, we actually saw the best all-around teams make the conference championship. And even in the AFC, you may be able to say the same thing. So let's get into the games, starting off with the early game, which is going to be the New England Patriots versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. This game, of course, is going to be played in New England, Gillette Stadium, for the Patriots' 7th consecutive AFC Championship. Not all of them have played in New England. I think 2 of them have been in Denver out of the last 7. And this game is, of course, a battle between a great defense and a very, very good offense with the greatest quarterback to ever play the position. What it comes down to me, I'm going to be releasing a video individually talking about only the matchup between Tom Brady and the defense. I'll also be releasing a video of the game preview, so there's going to be a lot of coverage on this game. You look at the rankings for these two teams on both sides statistically. I mean, the Patriots, this is a dream matchup. Patriots offense, 1st in yards, 2nd in points, 2nd passing, 10th rushing, 29 points per game at home. They also scored the league high 2.6 points per drive. The Jacksonville Jaguars, 2nd in yards, 2nd in points, 1st in passing. They are 21st against the run, but they were 2nd turnovers, 2nd in sacks. So they're a great defense all around. And they had the league low 1.2 points per drive. There's a lot of matchups in this game that we can go at length about, but I think that the Jacksonville Jaguars secondary obviously is their strength. The 2 corners specifically are their strength. And I think the Patriots will do their best to avoid those matchups. I'm guessing, Ramsey Bouye will play on the outside. They don't usually move. Usually Ramsey stays on one side, Bouye stays on the other, which is why we saw Antonio Brown stay on the side where Bouye was last game. And really, he took advantage of that matchup. But I think, Hogan and Cooks will kind of be like sacrificial lambs in a sense for the offense in this game. And I think the whole Patriots game plan attacking the Jaguars will consist between the hashes where, of course, Brady's been known throughout his career. We'll have Rob Gronkowski. Can the Jaguars cover him? I'm guessing they'll have Miles Jack and probably a safety covering Rob Gronkowski for a majority of the game. So that's going to be a very intriguing matchup, as well as can they cover the running backs out of the backfield? Dion Lewis has been superb through the second half of the season. James White, Rex Burkhead, these guys. Rex Burkhead's back this week, didn't play last week. Them versus Talvin Smith and Paul Posluszny will be interesting matchups as well. And the big thing, of course, is can Jacksonville get a pass rush? Calais Campbell led the team with 14.5 sacks. Ngakwe had 7 forced fumbles this year. One last game too. So they have everything really for a defense to be able to slow down the Patriots. But will it happen? They play that cover 3 style of defense. We've seen the Patriots play before with the Seahawks, with the Falcons. Obviously, this is a different defense. And they also have a guy in the front office with Tom Coughlin who I don't know how much of the impact he'll have. I'm sure he'll probably say to the Jags, like, this is what we did, and this is kind of like, you know, maybe what we did, but I really have no idea. He doesn't really do anything in terms of coaching. But when we looked at what
I got to correct you on that, because I was watching NFL Network, and they were actually talking that people don't know this, but he actually sits down with Doug Marrone. He's the guy that if someone's late, he disciplines the team. It's not just the coach. So I think he has a lot more to do with this team than people would think a GM does, because he very much is there on the sidelines of practices, helping Doug Marrone out.
Does he consist in the game plans though?
I think he would someone help out, but I do think that he's the reason why this team has changed their culture is from the top up.
I agree with that for sure. But yeah, I was just going to lead into, you know, will the Jaguars try and replicate what the Giants did? This was a long time ago. Obviously different Patriots teams, but will they try and, you know, do their 4-man rush? And the key to the 4-man rush with the heavy coverage defense behind it was they always had that joker in the middle, and the Seahawks in the Super Bowl tried to replicate this as well. They put Michael Bennett against the center and the guards of the Patriots. Who's going to be the Justin Tuck or the Michael Bennett for the Jaguars? Is it going to be Malik Jackson? Who's it going to be? Because typically Calais Campbell plays defensive end. We know that Justin Tuck used to play defensive end, but they would move him to D tackle just for those games. And as Bill Belichick said in his conference this week, the Jaguars, they don't do a ton, but what they do is they do things well. So to me, that basically tells me that, okay, Jaguars play a few defenses. They don't get too sexy, but they just, you know, they play their defense, and it's about execution. And that's what the Patriots and the Jaguars, it's going to come down to execution, which team can execute the best. And I think whenever I look at a matchup like that, and it's a defense where they don't play very many styles of defense, I always think to myself that the Patriots will have the advantage, because Josh McDaniels and these guys can come up with 1,000 different ways of figuring out how to beat their same defenses that they play all game long. And I think that's where the Patriots have the advantage, as well as I'll give you these statistics before I give the boys their thoughts as well. This is where I think the Patriots are going to attack the Jaguars, and it's with their running backs and their tight ends. Some players to have big games, I should say, against the Jaguars include Austin Eckler, Seals Jones of the tight end of the Cardinals, Kyle Juszczyk, the fullback of the 49ers, Vance McDonald of the Pittsburgh Steelers, and Kittle, the tight end for the 49ers as well. In their losses or games where they were scored on quite a bit, Week 17 versus Tennessee, 8 of their 12 total completions went to running backs or tight ends for 109 yards and a touchdown. Versus the Chargers, 13 of 21 completions went to running backs or tight ends for 119 yards and 2 touchdowns, both of them going to Austin Eckler. San Francisco, with Jimmy G scoring, I think, the most points that any team scored on them all season, I think was 44 points. 12 for 21, 145 yards and a touchdown. 16 for 22, 155 yards and a touchdown for Arizona with Blaine Gabbert. Pittsburgh, 20 for 37, 212 and a touchdown in this past week. So I think that's the way the Patriots offense will attack this defense. I think the Patriots are going to win this game, and I think they're going to win it pretty comfortably. I'm not saying that it's out of the realm of possibility for the Jaguars to beat the Patriots, but I do think that the Patriots will be able to move the ball with some success, and I do think that Blake Bortles will not make enough plays to win this game, and they'll force it into his hands, and he'll just not be able to do it because the Patriots will not allow Leonard Fournette to run for 150 yards against them. It just won't happen. What do you guys think?
Are you changing? But just quickly before you go, Dylan. So you're changing it from no chance to hell to I think the Patriots are going to win comfortably, because I think yesterday you were saying no chance in hell. I just want you to say that on camera now.
There's like a 5% chance.
You said no chance in hell yesterday. Do you still believe that?
There's a 5% chance.
But you said no chance in hell.
That's
yesterday.
pretty close to no chance in hell.
Okay.
There would have to be. Okay. So
that's what I'm saying. You believe there's no chance in hell that the Patriots lose this game.
No chance.
Okay, then that's all I want to hear. Cool. You got to stick with it, man.
They're going to win comfortably.
Okay.
What's the score? What's your score prediction?
Okay. So I say this. I say that they're going to win comfortably. I say they have no chance in hell because of this fact. I can't see the Jaguars coming out and scoring more than 17 points in this game. And honestly, the Jaguars haven't been good on the road on defense as much as people would like to assume. They've given up 19 points per game against very bad offenses on the road this year. They've only played one offense that was ranked above 8th in the entire league, and that was Pittsburgh. So the rest of the time, they've played the Texans with some bum-ass quarterbacks. They played the Browns. They played these teams. So I think that the Patriots will score at least 24 points, which means that I don't think that the Jags have a chance in hell because I can't see Blake Bortles scoring more than 24 points in this game. That is why.
Let's start off with a quote from Tom Brady. Being asked about his meeting with the Jaguars this week, he said, "This is the biggest challenge we faced all year." And this quote right here already exemplifies why the Patriots have more class than the Steelers, because they just go out there and realize that they're not looking forward to next week. They're not looking for the Super Bowl yet. Jalen Ramsey also said the same comment, saying, "Oh, we're going to win the Super Bowl" and all that. But the Steelers were way too confident in their game plan, and it screwed them over. And Tom Brady is looking to this week because that's what you got to do as an organization. I think this will be an interesting matchup. I think the Jaguars defense will give a little bit of problems for Tom Brady. I think some plays on the outside, like Mitch said, are not going to be as well executed. I think the two big players for this week are going to be Deion Lewis and Rob Gronkowski. I think Lewis is going to have a great game. And I think Gronk will have at least 2 touchdowns. I'm just going to call that here. I don't think the Jacksonville defense is going to find a way to stop them. Pittsburgh's defense wasn't able to, and I think this Jacksonville defense is going to be a little bit stifling when it comes to that. For Blake Bortles in the offense, I think the inexperience of the receivers, while we do like them and they're quite fast, I think is not going to help them in this game. You know, the loss of Robinson is going to be a key factor here. Blake Bortles, I don't think he's going to make enough passes. He made one really good pass last week, and that was about it. I don't think it's going to be the same way against this week, which the Patriots D-line has gotten way better as of the last couple of weeks. They're putting pressure. They got 8 sacks against the Titans last week, another AFC South team. So I think that could be the same case to here. My final score is going to be 34-17. I think the Patriots can put a lot of points up on the board, and I don't think the Jags are going to be able to capitalize. They might have some good field position that might get them a couple more points, and if they get a defensive touchdown, that'll also help them out here and getting the score a little bit closer. But personally, I think this will just be another good game for Brady. Go to Gronk, and it'll get the job done. So 34-17 Patriots.
Oh, yeah, I forgot to say my score. 30-10.
30-10. Okay.
Okay. So obviously the Patriots are the better team, and obviously I think the Jacksonville defense is going to be able to stop Brady and that offense enough. But I look at my problem with the Jacksonville offense is they don't spread things out enough. They won't keep the Patriots DBs on their toes. And as we've seen early on the season and at times later in the season, the way to beat that Patriots defense is to confuse the defensive backs, make them talk to each other on the fly, go on the ball, and play really quick so they don't have time to figure out where everyone is. But by saying that, I do believe that the defense is going to keep it close enough and that Jacksonville is actually going to be able to run the ball on the Patriots, because they might not be able to run the ball. They might get stopped early like the Titans did, but the Titans were down so much that they had to change their whole game plan up and not run the ball like they could. I think you're going to see Fournette from the first to the fourth quarter. If they keep it within one score, you're not going to see the Jaguars abandon the run. Now let's go to the New England defense. Yes, they got 8 sacks, but that's against Mariota, who every time runs away from his blocks and is not a very good pocket passer. Obviously, he ran into a lot of sacks. There was a lot of coverage sacks. Yeah, they did a good job, but I do think that Bortles is going to be able to make a couple throws to keep it close. I think they're going to run the ball. Obviously, the Patriots, like you said, there could be a no chance in hell that the Jaguars win. But I do think this defense keeps it within a one score. Yes, you mentioned all those great Patriots numbers, but they're 10th in the league in third down, which I do think that they have.
I honestly thought, like, watching the game last week, I know this is going to sound crazy to you, but I feel like the Patriots just ramped it up on offense last week. Like, I feel like a lot of games in the regular season, they don't try.
Yeah.
I know that sounds bad, but, like, I think it's true.
For sure. They might
because we saw some plays that I never saw the whole season.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and I think that's true too. Like a lot of teams do that. Like we saw, watching the Eagles game, I saw plays that I didn't see all season as well. And that's that's what good teams do.
Where did you see the Titans running the ball? Derrick Henry had 2.3 yards per carry.
I didn't see. I said they stopped him early, and then they went away from the run.
Well, if the Jags get down early, there's no chance they're going to win.
That's what I said, man. I said weren't you listening? I said, someone back me up. Is that what I not just said?
Yes.
Okay, but let's just put it in this context. Let's say that the Jaguars come out and their first 3 drives, they run for 2.3 yards per carry with Leonard Fournette.
For sure.
What is the score going to be after 3 drives of the Jacksonville Jaguars?
No, I think the defense is going to be able to stop the Patriots to keep it within 1 score, and then the Jacksonville will be able to run the ball eventually because Jaguars will wear down the defense of the Patriots if they continue to run the ball. The Titans were down 2 scores. They started throwing the ball. The Titans aren't going to win throwing the ball. Same with Jacksonville's not going to win throwing the ball. You got to stick to what you know, and if you're in a 1-score game, you're still going to keep running the ball, and you're going to hit on a couple. You're going to hit on a couple.
What if I reverse it on you and say that because the Jaguars won't be able to run the ball very much, that the Patriots will wear down the Jacksonville defense?
The Patriots will
I think the Patriots are going to do exactly what they did against Tennessee. They are going to hurry up. And they're going to say, okay, you're going to play 1 defense or 2 defenses this whole drive like the Titans did, and we're going to wear your defensive line down so you can't get after
I know the Titans.
And then we're going to
No, for sure. That could happen too, but we're just speculating here, and I'm just saying how I think it could happen. A lot of things can happen. Like the Jaguars could get 4 defensive touchdowns.
Why do you specifically think that the Jaguars will be able to run the ball when the Titans couldn't?
Because the Titans lost Conklin too. Lost Conklin, a very good for the run game, and I think Fournette is better than Henry by a ton, and he's quicker, and he's more agile. I love Kev shaking his head like up and down.
In the past 8 games, other than against the Steelers, were the Jags able to run the ball?
Not great, but I still think they stick with it, and this game they will be.
Honestly, I think if they had a different quarterback, I'd agree with you because I'd say, hey, that quarterback can actually make the throws to where Belichick will say, hey, corners, safeties, you need to actually play back there. But because they have Blake Bortles at quarterback, Pat Chung is literally going to be right on the line of scrimmage. It's just going to be like 5 D linemen across the board, and it's just going to be like, run. I don't care.
That sounds awesome. You got it all figured out. It's going to be great.
No, that's what I'm trying to say.
Well, I'm trying to tell you that maybe that doesn't happen.
That's what they did a little bit against the Titans. Is they're just okay, it's 5 D linemen.
They're not as good as the Titans. I mean, the Jaguars are better than the Titans. I think offensive. I think their run game is better.
The Titans beat them twice.
Well, that was so long ago, right? Well, the Chiefs, the Pats lost.
It was week 17.
The Pats lost. Well, it was a game that didn't really mean anything to them. Even the second game didn't really mean anything. They already locked up.
They also got destroyed against the 49ers.
Yeah, but Garoppolo's better than Brady, so right? Isn't that what everyone says? Is that the thing?
No. Don't you think that Belichick and McDaniels can maybe replicate what Kyle Shanahan did in that game?
Yeah, but you don't think the Jacksonville team is going to replicate what other teams to beat? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, this is the whole Patriots nonsense. Like, you think that you're going to outdo, but why don't you think the other team is going to do the exact same thing?
Because I think Belichick is a better coach than everyone on earth. Is that not a fair point?
That is a total fair point, but I'm just saying, why don't you think that the Jacksonville is going to look at what's beaten the Patriots and do that?
Have not been beaten lately. What is there to take from teams that have beaten the Patriots lately? I don't like what.
Obviously, passing game. They're
because I believe the Patriots have improved.
Sometimes they don't. I
think
pressure.
The Jaguars have not improved.
Sometimes that defense does not get enough pressure, and you're still weak inside.
Okay. That's fine. I don't think they're going to need pressure. You just contain Bortles, let him throw the ball.
And I'll say, I'm saying like the Patriots are obviously a favorite. I'm just playing devil's advocate because we can't have everyone just being like the Patriots are going to win and they have no chance.
So,
we need a little. I'm picking the Jags. I'm picking the Jags.
Is Bortles going to make the throws then?
I think he's going to make enough throws. He doesn't look at the noise. He's going to make enough throws. Okay. He's going to make enough throws. I'm just taking the Jags because
it's speculation, so I can't say you're wrong. But
yeah, you're saying is speculation. So when I say it's speculation, when you say
I know. I know. I'm just going off more statistical information.
Stats aren't everything. You've told me that multiple times.
No, but it's factual.
Somebody said that in this chat.
More so than just throwing it out there.
No, well, it doesn't matter. Like half the things didn't you say that the Eagles weren't going to win one game in the playoffs?
I switched my pick last week.
But you switched, but all season long you said they weren't going to win one game.
Because I thought they played the Saints.
Well, it doesn't matter. You still said they weren't going to win one game, and they proved you wrong there. So it's like that. You probably picked that factually. So, and that didn't work out for you.
No, that was more speculation because there was no statistic to back that up.
All I'm saying is, though, I think the Jags are going to be a lot closer than you think, and I think people are doubting even the coaching staff of the Jaguars, and that they're not going to be able to get something going. And I do think it's going to be close, but I'm going to say it's going to be 2017 Jaguars.
Okay.
Now, it's first of all, it's absolutely fascinating that Mitch has all of a sudden turned into this anti-Jag defense when
I agree.
No, okay. I was after I watched them play the Steelers. That was a disgusting performance last week.
Okay.
They were up 3 scores the whole game. You played different.
Also, I was kind of giving up. I was giving up a little bit of hope when I saw the 49ers with Kyle Juszczyk put up 44 points on them.
That game didn't matter.
Yes, it did.
No, it didn't.
Yeah,
yes, it did.
Well, it didn't matter to you before, Mitch.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
You didn't matter before. You were like, because I've always expressed a concern about the Jags defense. And you were like, there's no concern. What are you worried about? And then we've been...
What are you talking about? I bet you could check the videos and I'll say that I said that there was concerns.
Okay. I'll have to do that. Couple things, though. Tom Coughlin is actually 3-0 against Bill Belichick. 2 Super Bowls.
He's not the coach. Who cares?
Hang on. 40-38. And I do agree with AC. I think he has a lot to do with what is going on in Jacksonville. I also will remind you, because I was thinking about what the Giants did to beat the Patriots, because I think that this team is a little bit similar to those New York Giant teams.
In 2011, yeah.
Very much a similarity. They have a big back that can pound. I don't think that they're going to be in an incredible hurry to score points, and I don't think that they're going to need Blake Bortles to throw spectacular Eli Manning. And I do think that Jacksonville is not going to worry about 2.3 yards per average. I think they're just going to run the ball. Veer away from
My point is, if you get 2.3 yards per carry, you're not going to win the game.
Maybe not.
Really? Okay, they're going to have to win 10-7.
Well, if you get 3.3, you need an extra yards per carry, which averages and doing math on it.
Okay,
so they're going to have to go for it every 4th down.
Well, they need an inch, and Bortles QB sneaks it all the time, dude.
Yeah. He's always a good runner on
that. So, and I do think that the front 7 is very similar to what the Giants brought in 2007 and in 2012. I think a very similar style. So I think those things are factors. I do think that the Jags have a chance to win this game. I do. I think that they have the game plan. I think they have the resources. I think that offensive line in Jacksonville is better than the Tennessee offensive line. I think 100%. There's no question to me about that. I don't think that the Patriots are going to get the pressure that you think that they are. I think that this is going to be really tight. Here's my concern about the Jacksonville Jaguars.
When did I say they're going to get pressure? I didn't say that at all.
Well, I think that you.
No, we're just talking.
I actually don't think they're going to pressure him a lot.
A lot of people are bringing up the 8 sacks thing, and that's why I brought it.
Well, because that is impressive. Is that not impressive?
I didn't say.
Oh, sure it is.
Dude, chill out, man. Just
no. I'm saying is that not impressive?
Just let us talk for a bit, and then you can talk and you can argue with us. Just let Kevil talk a bit. Don't just.
I'm trying to correct Kevil on something that I said, AC.
Well, just let him talk.
I didn't say that.
Let me talk, though. Let me talk.
Let me talk.
Let me talk.
Okay.
Yeah. So I do think that I think that the line of scrimmage, I think, is advantage Jaguars. Where I think is the disadvantage, unfortunately, when you look at the Giants team from 2007 and 2012, those receivers, Manningham, Burris, Tyree, I don't think that the Jags have those guys. And I think that the Patriots secondary is going to be the difference in this game. And I think the Jags secondary, actually, I disagree with you, Mitch. I'm sorry. I think that's actually a weakness, in my opinion, of the Jags. I think the front seven is stronger than their secondary. I think Ben kind of proved it last week when he was able to lob it and lob it and lob it to get them back in the game. It was that secondary that is causing a lot of people's concern. And I go back to what Pete Carroll said when people were asking, why are you throwing deep against the Jacksonville Jaguars? Is because they saw something, and teams are starting to see something. And I do think that secondary, in the end of the day, is going to be a bit of a problem. And I think that the inexperience of the Jags receivers are going to be at the end of the big of the problem. So I'm picking the Patriots. I'm picking 27-24. I think at the end they will win, but I think that this is going to be a far closer game than you think. I think your nerves are going to go out for most of this game. I do not underestimate this Jacksonville Jaguar team. Do not do it. Even Bill Belichick is not underestimating this team.
Okay, Kev. Can I bring something up? Who is the quarterback for the Giants?
That would be Eli Manning.
Okay, let's look at Eli Manning's stats. Hold on one sec.
Yeah.
Eli Manning in 2011, 4,900 yards, 8.4 average, 29 touchdowns, 92.9 passer rating in the playoffs. 1,200 yards, 9 touchdowns, 1 interception, 103.3 passer rating. That might be the best playoffs any quarterback has ever played. Blake Bortles, 21 touchdowns, 13 interceptions, 84 passer rating, 3,600 yards.
Now, Mitch, compare Bortles.
He has 300 yards in 2 games in the playoffs.
And now compare Bortles' numbers this year to Peyton Manning's in 2015.
Are the Broncos okay? First off, is this defense as good as the Broncos? And then second, is this in New England or is it in Denver?
I still think look at what.
And is Demaryius Thomas Sanders playing?
I'm just saying, man. Look at that team beat with a quarterback that was even crappier than Bortles this year.
That was not a great Peyton Manning quarterback.
No, look at his stats.
No, you know what Peyton Manning could do is that he could put the team in the right play. Blake Bortles is not going to do that, and I would actually say that that Peyton could throw the ball better than Blake Bortles could.
Stats don't show that, but stats aren't.
Yeah. But I don't know what Blake Bortles.
And I don't think that this defense is on the same level.
I don't know what Blake Bortles has to do to get your respect. I honestly don't.
He has 300 yards in 2 games, Kev.
Yeah, and he won 2 games.
Yeah, but it's not because of him. You're gonna see in this game why I'm talking about that.
Okay,
I think the difference here is you're overrating Blake Bortles' impact on this team.
Oh, I think you're underrating Blake Bortles, and I think you're overestimating what this Jaguar offense is going to do.
Kev, what has Blake shown in the last 2 games to say that he is a?
He's done screens and freaking play action plays for 1 yard against a terrible Steelers defense.
Keegan Cole, the throw. Keegan Cole again against the Seahawks. He's been able to do it.
That was 8 games ago.
He's got 21 touchdowns and 13 interceptions. What the guy it's not I guess I'm always confused why people are this is the worst quarterback in the history of quarterbacks. I agree. Look at the guy. As terrible as people are making him out to be. I think this guy's been severely underestimated. The guy didn't.
So that's won the game by his feet. That's the difference. Is you Buffalo think Blake Bortles is good, and I don't. That's the difference.
I'm not saying Eli Manning wasn't the greatest quarterback of all time, and he found a way to do it.
He's arguably a Hall of Famer.
But
he had one of the best playoffs ever.
Yeah.
Against a terrible Patriots defense.
Oh. Well, that was 17-0.
No, the other one.
We talk about this Patriots defense like it's great.
That
because
one was a
fun stat, scoring stat. But if you put everything together, they're not a great defense still.
They were 29th against the run. They were 29th against the run, Mitch.
They somehow great.
And that was
good
also.
at scoring,
And can I also bring this key fact up? Both those games were on neutral field.
Oh, I'm not saying that home field's not an advantage to the Patriots.
Have you seen? Okay, but I don't know. Whatever. I can't really say much more. I'm picking
my
the Patriots 10 times over.
I feel like if we don't pick them 42-0, it's like wrong. Yeah. Like we deserve a punishment.
No. I just think that you're saying some things that don't make a lot of sense.
Yeah, they make dollars, Kev.
Dollars.
Yeah.
Dollars.
Don't make sense, but I make dollars, man.
What was your score, AC?
20-17 for the Jags. I'm just doing it because I got screwed over on that Saints game. Else I'd be ahead in the pick'em, and now I'm whatever. Who cares?
And now we're tied. Yeah, we're all tied again.
No.
All right.
No,
Dylan, we haven't heard a ton from you. Any final thoughts before we move on to the last game?
Aren't we all tied? AC, we went 3-1 last week.
No, I took Saints last minute.
No, we went 2-2.
Yeah, you went 2-2.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay.
Well, I should have won that. Let's be
honest. I don't think Blake Bortles is going to make enough passes. As much as I hate Eli Manning, I think he's the most overrated quarterback there's ever played. I see he still made a great playoff series and won that game. I don't think Blake Bortles has that confidence in him. And the inexperience of the receivers is going to hurt them tremendously. I'm not the biggest.
That's my concern with picking the Jags. That receiving core and that inexperience, I think, might hurt them.
I'm obviously not a Patriots fan, but I'm just saying that the Jacksonville offense is what's going to hold them back. Like their defense could make a couple of plays, and that if they figure out, they forced 8 defensive touchdowns this season. So
and it would screw up your fantasy team, playoff fantasy team, if they lost.
Talking about mine and
yeah, if the Patriots lost, it would screw up your.
Yes, it would.
It would hurt that.
It would hurt my playoff challenge thing, but at the same time, I still have them winning by 17. So it's.
But Mitch, if we're living in hell, which if you've been around the last couple of years, it kind of seems like that sometimes. Anything is possible, and if the Patriots lose to Blake Bortles in this game,
I already said what it is. I already said it. It's Bill Belichick's biggest stain on his entire career if he loses to the Jaguars.
Yeah, it's gonna be close.
Let's move on. We'll go to the Minnesota Vikings Philadelphia Eagles game.
And I just want to say this. Watch this. Yeah. For everyone that disagrees with me in the Eagles, watch how I respond. And we'll see the difference.
What do you mean?
I won't care. Like, say whatever you want. It's like,
but you should care.
No, I do care, but I don't like it's whatever. That's your opinion. That's my opinion. If you want to think like that, and it could backfire on you, it could backfire on me. The less you say, the easier it is.
But it's a preview show. You're supposed to express your opinions. I don't know.
No, I express my opinion, but I'm not going to argue every single point that you guys say because it's I know what my team's about, and I think it's better that way.
All right. Minnesota Vikings play the Philadelphia Eagles in the Link. This is the big Eagles, the upset, even though they're the number 1 seed against the Atlanta Falcons. And even though they were picked by every single one of us to win that game, they were the underdogs in that game against the Falcons. In what was an exciting, low-scoring game. You don't say that very often, but that was the case.
Exciting, low-scoring game. Yes.
That was the case. This and the Vikings were in a freaking epic final game against the New Orleans Saints. Last play, what could be said other than you've probably seen the highlights? Stephon Diggs, Case Keenum. Keenum throws his helmet off. Diggs throws his helmet off. Everybody's celebrating, and then, they still have to do the extra point. This is going to be an interesting game because, like AC said off the top, these are two teams that are quite similar. These are two teams that were expected to meet in this game about December-ish. Even though Carson Wentz has went down, we're still going to see this matchup with 2 backup quarterbacks, 2 running backs that weren't even on the roster, basically, at the beginning of the year. We didn't expect to be playing in this game. So it's gonna be an interesting game to watch, to say the least. I think this game has a ton of question marks regarding both teams. Which defense is going to dominate, which quarterback is going to step up, who's going to be the playmaker for each team, which coach is going to have the better game plan. I think there's just a lot of question marks coming in. So guys, I'll let AC start off and give his thoughts on his Eagles first.
Okay, once again, the underdogs. I think we should be in a way, because I think there's more pressure on the Vikings. The Vikings on paper, a lot of people would say the Vikings have the better defense. And I think the Vikings would say, because Keenum played for, I think Keenum started playing in week 5? Week 5,
technically
6?
he started playing week 2, but...
Was that when Bradford got injured?
Bradford got injured in the opener.
Oh, and then came back a bit, and then
came back for that one game, and they got hurt.
That's the thing, and I'll give credit to Keenum, because he has played well enough for this team. I've been impressed with the running game without Cooks. What can you say about? You can't say anything wrong about Adam Thielen and Stephon Diggs, like just unbelievable playmakers. So obviously we are the underdogs. A couple things I'm looking in this game. I do like that the Eagles are at home. It's not going to be like super cold, but I think that changes things a lot. I think what we saw with the Falcons, obviously the Falcons weren't playing great heading in, but we still saw some slippage. We still saw a couple mistakes from the Falcons that I do kind of put that they were playing outside. It's a different type of footing. It's not a speed game like obviously Falcons are used to playing, and now Minnesota's used to playing the speed game. Let's start with the offense, the Vikings offense versus the Eagles defense. I don't think I have been impressed lately though with Latavius Murray and McKinnon. But I don't think they're going to be able to run the ball up the middle. Yes, McKinnon, we saw some good runs against the Saints. They were able to run the ball on the outside a bit, and we actually saw that with Coleman in Atlanta, that they were somewhat successful, which I think the Eagles are going to be able to game plan for, because there's a couple times where the defensive ends just lost containment with Coleman, but only for 10 yards. Like, not a lot of the Eagles didn't give up big plays. I think they're going to be able to stop the run. So it comes down to Case Keenum. I was impressed what I saw with Keenum, but I also was somewhat worried. There's a couple times Keenum does this trust the receiver, which I kind of like, but when I'm going against it, I like even more, because please do that. Throw it up. And obviously Thielen has a height advantage over a lot of players, but still, there was obviously that one in the first with Thielen. There also was that one when he rolled out and had a lot of time and just threw it up to Diggs when there was like 3 guys around. And then we saw the interception with the pressure. I think this defensive line is going to get a lot of pressure. And if you look at it in the second half, I thought the Saints did get a lot of pressure on Keenum. And look at what, they only got one touchdown or 2 field goals in that second half. They didn't score a touchdown in that second half, right?
Well, until the final play. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Excuse me. Until the final play. So I think it's going to be somewhat, I think the Eagles are going to be able to put pressure. I think we're going to be able to cover it long enough, but if we don't get pressure, you could, give the Vikings the win already, because we're going to need to hold them to, similar amount of points, maybe 14, 10, something like that. And I think we're going to be able to do that outside. Now we go to the offense, and I do like, obviously this Minnesota Vikings defense is great. They're going to be able to, Rhodes is going to be able to lock down whoever he plays. But I do think those other guys, there's still some question marks with Trey Waynes. Harrison Smith's a great player. But with no Sendejo, look what they did with Sendejo in the first half against the Saints, and look what they did without Sendejo. And I think that's a huge, if he doesn't play, which I don't think he will, because when you're in concussion protocol on a Monday, you normally don't get out of it that quick and play. We've seen that all season long, guys taking off at least one game. I think that's going to be a big factor. It's going to be very tough to run the ball, but I think Mitch mentioned play calling, and I think Doug Peterson, how he coached the game last week, I think he's back in the discussion. He already was, but I think he's back in the discussion of being coach of the year. You lose your MVP. We've lost our Pro Bowl left tackle. We lost our up-and-coming middle linebacker. We lost Darren Sproles, our third down back. We lost our special teams player. You know what I mean? We've lost so much, and he's been able to right the ship, and other guys have been able to step up. Our offensive line, the biggest matchup for me, our offensive line versus their defensive line. And I do think it's best on best. I do think our offensive line is very good. I think we're going to be able to get guys open in space. We're going to run the screens. And I do think that Zach Ertz is going to have a bigger game. And then I guess we got to talk about Foles. I think Foles was amazing in that second half. 7 incomplete passes, 243, no touchdown. But on third down, they were, I think, 60%, especially in the third and fourth quarter, which I think that's the difference. Is I know we talked about the Eagles' third down conversion rate being so good on third and long, and that's kind of what hurt us in those last 3 games. But the Eagles played differently. When Mitch and I were watching, they got to 3rd and 3. That was their goal. Get it to 3rd and short, which is a lot we haven't seen because with Wentz, it was a bit different. I do think Foles is going to make enough throws. I think it's going to be low scoring. I think that Eagles defense is once again going to step up, and I think the Eagles are going to be able to pull off the win and head to the Super Bowl, overcoming odds and being the underdog. And at the end of the day, I just think I don't trust Case Keenum all that much, and I think this defense is going to be able to get pressure. The Vikings don't have their left guard, who looked very weak. I think on the inside they looked weak blocking and running the ball. So I think that's going to be a key. I think this game's going to play out very similar to the Falcons, but without those turnovers, hopefully, for the Eagles. I'm going to go 17-13 Eagles.
Okay. When it comes down to third down conversion for the Vikings, they were 10 of 17 last week, and they held their opponent to 2 of 9 from third down. I think that'll be a key for the Vikings going into this week. They're going to need third downs to be in their favor. I think both games were very interesting last week. I hope that noise in the background isn't as annoying as it is to me right now. But, yeah, it was both very interesting 2 games. They were both very entertaining. Both came down basically to the last play. But I think what I saw out of the Vikings last week was a little bit of struggles here and there. The first couple drives, I'm like, okay, this Vikings team is going to be very difficult to score on. The first drive in particular, they went down and scored pretty quickly with that McKinnon touchdown. I was liking what I was seeing, but then they hit some road bumps. They weren't able to capitalize. Their second half was a little sloppy. Sendejo, I don't know if he's going to be back. He's listed as questionable. I haven't heard anything from any like Rappaport or Schefter or anything. We'll see how it goes through later of the week, but that'll be a big loss if they don't have him. Breeze put on an excellent second half against the Vikings, one of the best second halves of the season. I just don't know if Foles is going to be able to do the same thing against this Vikings defense. If they're down, I think it'll be a very hard struggle to come back. If it's down by 2 scores, if it's a 1-score game, I can see him, leading an impressive drive. But I want to see what Keenum does. I like some of the throws he made last week. He was playing out there with a little bit of flair. The one interception was really bad. He should not have thrown that. But other than that, some of the throws to Thielen where you're kind of trusting Thielen to make the catch, and he makes the catch because he's that good. Those are the throws that I like to see. He put it up there. That one throw where he's off to the right, he had a bunch of time, threw it to Diggs in the middle of the field. That's like one of those things, like you're not going to teach a quarterback to throw that, but at the same time, it got it done and got the touchdown later on in the drive. So I like what I saw to Keenum for the most part. Running game, I don't think is going to be a factor in this, unless that they use him as a Kamara type. Use him as the receiver, get a couple of catches. I don't know how much of an impact that's going to be, but I don't think the Vikings are going to run the ball very much. Freeman had no luck whatsoever running the ball last week, and I think it'll be the same thing this week. Not maybe as much, but I think the Vikings run game isn't going to be that great. For the Eagles, Foles played good. Sometimes early on, I was very concerned with how he was playing, but as the game got better, he got through his feels. He looked a lot better. Actually looked at the temperature. AC, you're the temperature guy here. The day is supposed to be the high of 52 and a low of 39 with a 25% chance of rain. So
yeah, it's funny. It's the same as the Atlanta game. It wasn't as cold and it was rainy and slippery, which I still think that plays into the Eagles' hands a bit more. Plus being a home team, just with the crowd.
It's just a good thing. It's a good thing for the Vikings. It won't be like snowing or anything like that. That's if it's in bad field. It won't be very good.
But I'm just saying, but with the rain,
yeah, the rain's going to be good.
And a quarterback, right? And that would probably favor the Eagles, even with rain.
Right. It'll be a fun game. I'm looking for maybe like a Zach Ertz to play well on the offense. receivers and tight ends group. I don't think the run game for either team is really going to be a factor here. That's just my opinion. My final score is going to be 24-20 in the favor of the Vikings. I think it'll be very similar to how both teams played last week. I just think like this time it'll be combined. You know what I mean? I think the Eagles will go out, have a couple of good drives, maybe even force a turnover to get a good score. If the Vikings go up 2 touchdowns, I don't think the Eagles can come back. But if it's a one-score game, I think it'll be a very back-and-forth contest with a lot of good matchups here. I want to see how the secondary for the Eagles play. They played well last week. They got the final stop on Julio Jones. Should be an interesting game, but I'm going to go 24-20 in favor of the Vikings.
I'm going with the Vikings. And I thought really hard. I could make an argument for the Eagles to win this game. I think that Brandon Graham is going to have a big game. I think that's a guy to watch. I do actually disagree. I think the running game, Dylan, I think both running games will be heavily involved. I do see a good matchup there with Aguilar and Trey Waynes. I think that might be a matchup that favors the Eagles as well. So those are 2 areas that I would be concerned. I think if you look match, it's look at these teams overall, they're even. Like I think position for position wise, it's really hard to say that one team has a superior edge over another team, and even in areas like it's tough. I think like maybe the Eagles have a better offensive line, Vikings probably have a better quarterback running it. It's soft in a lot of ways, but it comes down to me. I think there's a chance that this game could go to overtime. I do want to say that. I think there's a 20% opportunity that we could see this go into overtime. But down to me, starting quarterback.
Did he cut out?
I know that everyone's
Kev, cutting out.
Kevin, wake up!
He's at the library. He's got his hat like this.
And like while he's going, I just want to quickly mention why I thought the Vikings were a better matchup, because I thought regardless, Saints D, Vikings D, I thought Foles is going to be so regardless of who he plays. And I thought the factor is this defense going against Keenum rather than Drew Brees. I'll take that any day, because I thought Foles is the type of player that could struggle against a horrible defense, regardless if they're number 1 to number 30. And that's why I thought the Vikings matchup was a bit better. Kev? Oh, he's frozen like he's talking.
Come on.
Oh, there's a second Kevin Olney.
Hi, am I here?
Yes.
Yeah. And just one thing, Kev, before you start going again. Normally when games are even, how much are you putting into home field advantage, if that? Like, do you think that's going to be a factor at all?
It does. It does. But it's like, honestly, you could. I think there's a legitimate argument that I could have flipped a coin here and said either or. I mean, I think the Eagles got a lot. I think, quite frankly, the Eagles were disrespected when the Falcons were the favorite. I think that was. I agree with AC. That was bulletin board material for a team that was a 1 seed. And you know, they didn't blow out the Falcons, but they did enough. They have the number 1 red zone defense. But I just look at the Vikings. I go back to what Case Keenum did. He didn't engineer 1. He engineered 2 go-ahead drives with 2 minutes to go. Yes, you could argue that Marcus Williams made a dumb play. And yes, Keenum made a couple of terrible throws before that. But he got it done. And I think that the guy, I consider him a starting quarterback in the NFL. And I just look at Diggs, Thielen, Kyle Rudolph. I think that they're going to be able to do enough to get this done. I think what came down to me is I trust Case Keenum to make the big play more than Nick Foles at the end of the day. But this can go either way. It would not surprise me if the Eagles won. A lot of good things for the Eagles there, but I think ultimately the skill positions for me for the Vikings were the reason that I'm picking them to win this game. But it can go either way.
Okay. As for my pick, I'm going with the Philadelphia Eagles again. All right, let me explain.
I was trying to get you pissed.
It's best for business.
I was trying to get you pissed off so you wouldn't pick them.
Honestly, I thought about it, but no, I'm not kidding. I thought about it, but I'm still going with the Eagles. It comes down to a few things, but I think, you know, AC didn't really talk about the Nick Foles thing. He talked about everything else, which is fair enough. It's fair enough. Again, with Kevin, what Dylan said, yes, I think Case Keenum's a better quarterback than Nick Foles, and I think he does make more big plays than Nick Foles, and that is the concern of this game. Otherwise, I think the Eagles match up very well against the Vikings. I think there's a few key things that it comes down to. Offensively for the Eagles, how's the play calling? Is it good like it was last week? I actually feel like Atlanta's defense is very much like Minnesota's. Not as good, but it's kind of similar. And I think that when watching the Saints game, the number one thing that any team playing the Vikings from here on out can take away is to hurry up. The Vikings only play 5 defensive linemen. So that means that their defensive linemen get really tired when you hurry up. And who's quarterback for the Eagles? Nick Foles. And what coach did he play for? Chip Kelly. So I think that they might put some of that into this game plan. And I want to see, you know, are they running those plays? And does Doug Peterson and their offensive coordinator have those couple of plays that they had last week against Atlanta that was the difference? You know, like that little handoff to Nelson Aguilar in the bunch formation, or like, because Atlanta didn't have those plays. Now, I do think Pat Shurmur is a very good offensive coordinator as well. It's going to be interesting to see what he does against the Eagles. But I think even more so than that, it comes down to, like AC said, I think it comes down to the line of scrimmage. Whenever two teams are great at defense and not very good at offense, it always comes down to the line of scrimmage. I think the Eagles defense, which was the best team in terms of pressuring the quarterback this year, in terms of pressure rate, I think is going to be able to get after Keenum a little bit more than the Vikings will. Being that the Eagles offensive line I have a little bit more trust in. There are injuries on the Vikings offensive line. And I really like what I saw from Fletcher Cox, who will have another big advantage this week against the Vikings. And that, as well as the home field, being at home with those fans yelling and screaming. Keenum, the Vikings aren't the same team on the road. They're really good at home. They're not the same team, and the Eagles are a way better team at home. So they haven't lost a meaningful game at home this whole season. I can't really go against that. You guys talked about all the kind of the matchups and all that stuff. I expect Zach Ertz to have a pretty good game in this one. He didn't really last week, but I think he'll step up this week. And I don't think the run games will be too much of a factor either. But I do think that, you know, they might catch a couple passes out of the backfield. And then just looking at it, I think the Eagles, with that, they still have that motivation as the underdog. They're at home. They're still that number 1 seed. The Vikings aren't at home. Yes, they came off a miracle play. And like AC said, I don't know. One of those jump balls could go the Eagles' way. Whenever you're that hot, though, you kind of tend to think that it's going to go your way. If one of those balls gets picked off for the Eagles, that could be the difference in the game. So it's going to be a really good, close. I have the Eagles winning, though. I think it's going to be like 17-14 or something like that. I think it's going to be under 20 for both teams. The defenses will both play very well. Expect the Eagles to get and dominate the line of scrimmage a little bit more, which is the difference.
Yeah, and I didn't mention like some of the big plays were those screen plays against Atlanta, like the Ajayi one that got us down the field. Yeah,
that's what I'm basing it off of.
Right? Like Ajayi has looked good. Besides that fumble, he did look he looked decent in that game. And
he looked better than Murray did against.
Yeah. So it's interesting because the Murray thing somewhat scares me because, like you said, when we were bringing up the best running backs, most yardage, he was 4th in the second half of the year.
Yeah, I also think, though, like looking at the Atlanta game plan, they couldn't run a lot through the interior. I'm not sure if that's because it was just Atlanta, but they tried to stretch the team out, and I don't really see, like, are they going to try that with McKinnon or, like, I don't know if the Vikings can really expose that weakness again that Atlanta sort of figured out. Well, and even if you look at that game last week, AC, watching that game, play for play, minute for minute, second for second, reacting to it live is a little bit different than even watching it. But the Eagles defense barely gave up like no points virtually.
No,
like they really didn't, because you look at it, it's a fumble on special teams, and it's a fumble from your running back. Now that drive warranted. They still had to go a length of the field, but
they got a field goal out of that.
They basically only scored like 7 points in the entire game, or 3 points.
3, because the touchdown came off the 18.
And that's Atlanta's offense with Julio and Matt Ryan, right?
No, I'm with you, man.
No, I'm just saying. I'm saying to Dylan and to Kevin and everybody out there. I'm just saying, like, if Atlanta, I know Steve Sarkisian is not very good, and we've been on him for that final play and everything else. And Pat Shurmur is much better, but
Pat Shurmur's also Pat Shurmur's also has had a history of calling bad games as well. Obviously, not as bad as Sark, but
not this year. But I'd say that Matt Ryan's better than Case Keenum. You know, Julio is a tougher matchup than Adam Thielen. Mohamed Sanu and Stephon Diggs are not much far off, and those running backs are much harder to handle than the Minnesota guys. So I think if Minnesota's defense doesn't dominate, I think the Eagles take the game.
But I just think that you look at the front seven of the Vikings and the skill. I don't know. I mean, Julio is up here in comparison.
And Doug Baldwin is up here.
And Doug Baldwin, I mean, is with Michael Backlund over here. Yeah. But
Michael Backlund's like here. Doug Baldwin's like here.
And then Julio Jones is
like way down here.
Yeah. But I just, the Anthony Barr is a good run. Like the linebacking core of the Vikings, I think, is going to cause a lot of problems. The Vikings can create turnovers, and I don't know. I just think Keenum can come up with the play. It's going to come down to 2 plays, and I think Keenum was the guy to do it.
I understand that.
Yeah, same here.
The Minneapolis Miracle.
The Minneapolis Miracle.
Can we just talk about, because I didn't get to talk about that. Like, that was the craziest thing I've ever seen. I was like, is his family all right? Did someone go, like, some Russian mobster guy, like, dressed in
find you.
Yeah, dressed in New Orleans gear, just like goes him on the sidelines before the drive. He's just like, I have your family. Don't make this tackle. That just seemed like a lot of people on Twitter, like, obviously after it's not, but it's like, is that guy on the take? It was so bad.
You gotta feel bad for the guy too.
And it was just like, why wouldn't you want to play that ball up in the air? He wasn't gonna be there too soon. If you just stood up and just break down.
Okay, I don't understand why they didn't just say, "Hey, tackle him in bounds,"
or just let him catch it and just stop right.
Yeah, because there's like a 50-50 chance he's gonna tackle.
But you know what he was told? Jimmy Johnson brought this up. I thought this was a good theory, that he was told not to pass interfere.
I know, but you still then just.
I know.
Actually, somebody I talked to is a Vikings fan about that same fan.
It does make sense.
Yeah. No, it definitely makes sense. But why would you, like? You're the safety. If you miss a tackle,
I know.
Like, you literally didn't even touch him.
Still, why is there not like 3 safeties back there? Why was he the last guy there?
Yeah.
And why is there not like 10 people? Like, why isn't there, of the 11 guys on the field, why isn't there 3 on both sidelines?
Yeah.
And then like 3 across, and then just 2 right in the middle.
Well,
like,
there was a third guy coming to the sideline, and then I don't know what he was looking at.
You should just let them make a box.
Yeah.
Like, just if he catches it in the field, there's no chance they're gonna get another playoff.
Yeah. Even if he makes that tackle, there's a chance he gets out of bounds, but still.
I know this is a random thing, but I know Bill Belichick's like thing is that you have to have 18 seconds to go that far and then spike the ball and get a field goal off. So it what was it, 14 seconds?
No, he caught it at 4.
He caught it at 4.
Yeah. There's no way they would have spiked it.
Like, it was impossible.
But he almost could have gone out of bounds.
That's what I'm saying. There's a chance he could have gotten out of bounds for that. But then again, it's just a 50-50.
No, that's what I mean. Put all the guys on the sideline. And then it's almost impossible unless he dekes like 2 guys out.
Yeah. He would have had to run, scramble, get something out there.
Yeah, no,
he would have pitched it backwards probably.
Yeah. It
was miracle. I still think that I I think Foles is going to struggle regardless, and that's why I think it's easy for you guys to say that Keenum's going to play better and score at least more than the offense does. But I don't know. I don't think people are giving enough credit for what Foles did in the second half. When we were watching that game, it was first read stuff. It was simple, but he was making.
That's what's concerning about it, though.
But that's what it should be concerning. But they're still, the first reads were wide open.
I know they were, but like I know.
Keenum did a little of that too. Keenum's
concerning both ways. Because I watched Keenum, and at times I was like, "Wow, that was an amazing throw!" Like that was Aaron Rodgers. But then the next play, it's like, "Fuck, that was Blake Bortles." So I don't know what he's gonna be like, you know.
But Keenum doesn't the same with Foles. But Keenum is better than Foles. But Keenum's not looking off safeties and stuff.
No, he's.
You know what I mean? He's not really look at this and then throw him this way.
The X factor with Keenum, although I think people are ridiculous for saying this, that he's like Brett Favre, but he is a really bad version of. He's like Eli Manning a little, in the fact that he can just chuck it up and for some reason his receiver will catch the ball. You know. Well, he just has this reckless abandon to him that I think people are more attracted to than the Nick Foles style of play, which is just take the first read or throw it out of bounds.
The one thing I will say too is that because I did this with Atlanta, so I had to do it with Minnesota. We did play them last year when we weren't very good, and Minnesota was 5-0 at the time. Came to Philly and we beat them, and that was the exact same defense we're playing. And we weren't even very good. I think Wentz threw 2 picks. We barely had any offense. That was in Philly when the Vikings were 5-0 at the time with Bradford. But still, I just say that we still won a game with a really bad offense, but our defense played really well. So it worked for us against the Falcons, because that Falcons game pretty much almost was played very similar to the one we played a year and a half ago.
Guys.
And Keenum
Viking supporters.
And Keenum was brutal against the Packers. Worst game of the season in his only
I was gonna bring that up. That was his worst game of the season, and that was his only cold game, and that's a little concerning too. Nick Foles and the Eagles are used to that. Vikings are a dome team, though. They're a dome team.
Yeah, they're a dome team, man. I can't believe it.
But I don't think that the problem is I don't think we've already agreed that the Eagles won't be able to score 20 points. So
I don't think the Vikings will either.
It's going to be a low-scoring game, which I think plays to the Vikings' advantage.
No,
I think it plays to the Eagles.
That's the Eagles.
That would play to the Eagles' advantage. They won with 15 points.
Yeah,
but I just
it's at home, and it's cold.
Yeah,
no, but I don't think.
And the refs are on the payroll.
Yeah, it's Hockley,
sorry,
man.
that's my Patriots. My bad.
Hockley, man, 11-7. Let's go.
Yeah. And Hockley,
11-7.
Call will he come up?
Well, I know, but then Mitch was just like, "That's not very good." I'm like, "Well, you're ref. You're 2-4. That's worse."
No, but I'm just thinking if the Titans won one more game, that would be their record. And I'm like, 11-7 is like
no, but you got to think of it as probability. You can't think of it as
I know, but
because if we're gonna do
this doesn't matter at all.
If we're gonna think if we're gonna do it as a record, then that means we got to figure out what the records of the teams to get that record, right?
So we got to put extra
probability. It's probability. If you have 4 more wins, and it's just a 1-game series, more chances off.
Let me call my boy. We'll go spin the wheel of fortune. We'll play that.
What a guy.
Well, can I just get your take, Mitch, though, about the ref that's going? You guys are 2-4 when you've only lost
honestly, I don't remember the 6 game. I remember one of them, which was the Luke Kuechly hug. The others I don't remember at all.
The Jets coin toss one was that?
Which were the other ones?
Didn't he do something with a Jets coin toss?
He
fucked the coin toss up, but I don't think that actually had anything really to do with the game. I don't remember that one.
That was when they went to overtime. And
that was in New York against the Jets. They lose those games.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know the other ones.
I would.
I really don't care.
You can find it. Pro Football Focus. You can see.
No, it's unless if it's the last play of the game.
If every time they lost, it was just a guy hugging Gronk.
It was Kuechly the whole time.
But Mitch, just watch how he calls, and he called the Jaguars Steelers. The Jags were holding so much against the Steelers,
also,
and they
he
weren't
called
calling anything.
that phantom Jalen Ramsey shoulder to the guy out of bounds play.
So maybe we should just think about this a little more.
Man, I just think the ref, he's going to let a lot go, which could favor the Jaguars because they're going to be able to hug Gronk and just throw him down and not get called.
Okay, well, if that happens, then I completely change.
No, they're gonna call offensive pass interference on Gronk.
If it just turns into blitz, then yeah, okay, cool.
It's gonna be 3rd and 48. Like,
if I just see like AJ Bouye and Jalen Ramsey like power bomb him through a table out, and then
oh my god, it's TLC.
Then I'll change my opinion on the game.
Can I put that out there though about the Doug Peterson Coach of the Year thing? Now that we saw how he coached without like losing a lot of players and losing Wentz and still looking.
How many players did he lose? Peters and Wentz.
Peters, Wentz, Hicks. I guess that has nothing to do with him, but he's still the coach. Hicks, Sproles, special teamer Marigos, like a lot. And actually, we're playing.
I still think it's going to go to Sean McVay, just because of how bad Jeff Fisher was.
Yeah.
Sure.
Fisher's fine. Fisher had both of these guys on his roster, and he's 4
yeah. That's the story here.
He went 4-12 with those.
No, and what are their numbers? 7 and 9.
7. He's always that 7-9 coach. You know, just always be 7-9, just one step behind.
All right, Dylan. Let's get to some comments.
I already saw Kevin Durkant's comments, which are just wonderful. But let's go to the first comments. Marsman takes the Patriots and the Vikings to go to the Super Bowl. Also says first. Robot Guy says go Patriots. Ultra has his scores here. Patriots 27, Jaguars 17. Vikings 24, Fair. Eagles 23. So very close. Very
Fair. Fair scores.
Trevor Griffin says Jags by 3, Eagles by 6. So I don't agree with either of those. But I don't know. Killing Boy says go Patriots. Patriots are the best. Let's see. Trevor says Brady is going down. Can't throw on the ground. That was a nice one.
Won't be on the ground. Be in the end zone.
Touchdown. Ultra says watch the division previews in the summer. Watch all the weekly previews. Watch a lot of top videos. Subscribing to this channel is a thing you won't regret. Yes.
Who said that?
Ultra.
What a guy.
What a guy.
What a guy.
There's fan of the year. We're doing our like award ceremony. Let's see here. Oh, Ultra says going from Tom Brady versus Matt Ryan as the 2 Super Bowl quarterbacks to possibly Blake Bortles versus Nick Foles to a Super Bowl quarterbacks.
I honestly hate that. I know the teams are okay. I don't think the teams are that good, even the Patriots, but like that just sucks. I don't like it at all. Like it's not the NFL that I.
Well, I know, but we've been blessed with all these great quarterbacks. But like we've seen Super Bowls like that. Like remember, it was the Giants.
But you know the sad thing though, we never saw. We never
were excited for Giants Ravens in 2000.
No, we've never seen like Brady.
We've never seen Brady Rogers, Brady Breeze, Manning Breeze. Oh no, we saw that Manning Rogers.
But you always say it. It's how hard it is to win.
Favre Brady. We never saw any of these games.
It's hard to put it together.
We were one game away from Brady Rogers. That would have been amazing. Like,
how about Bortles has more
one onside kick by an idiot?
Yeah, I forgot about that.
How about Bortles more playoff wins than the Cowboys in the last 20 years?
Yeah, that's pretty impressive.
That'll be fucking awesome. We're tied right now.
Did you guys know that this is? I think I said this actually. This is the 5th time the Patriots are playing the Jaguars in the playoffs since I was born.
Yeah. Oh, that happened.
Wait, what was the other 3?
That's more than the Steelers.
What was the other 3 times? I can't remember.
And they act like the Steelers is
wild card or division rounds.
Okay, so 96 was the AFC Championship. New England won and went to play and got raped by the Packers.
Okay.
The other one I think was 98, which was
I know it was 99 with the AFC Championship.
Which was I think the divisional game or the wild card game. The Patriots lost that game. 2005 wild card, the Patriots won that game. I remember because Asante Samuel pick 6, and then they lost to the Broncos the week after the Champ Bailey pick 6, and then. 2007 Patriots versus Jags. The Jags beat the Steelers the week before and lost to the Patriots. Sound familiar?
And
that was the
last playoff appearance. So
yeah, I think that's that's it. 5. This is the.
They had the 99 AFC Championship game too.
Okay, 99, not 98.
Okay,
not bad.
I was trying to think if that was the one. Okay, interesting. Mr. Mike 307, we're still trying to clarify if he's in cahoots with Kev as a Seahawks fan. Says Minnesota versus New England is his pick for the Super Bowl. I'm just joking with the cahoots.
That was mine before the playoffs, but things happen.
Yeah. Things happen. No, you just want best for business.
I have this feeling that the Eagles are going to win.
You want best for business. That's what you want.
Plus, I'm also betting on them, so that helps.
Oh, there you go. Let's see. Patriots are just going to simply outscore the Jaguars. That says Chris the Gamer. Let's see here. And Mr. Mike says, and Jacksonville doesn't finish teams off. They allow teams to come back. So if they get a lead, be like Atlanta.
What happened there? What happened with Atlanta?
I'm talking about the Super Bowl.
I don't remember.
and every game this season where they lost the Dolphins and all that stuff. Somebody said
and the Eagles, right? Weren't they up 10-0?
What? Yeah.
Oh yeah, when was that 10-0? They blew more.
Well, no, and when we were watching that game, I was saying like it can't get the Eagles can't get to 14. It impressed me that they came
and I
10.
was saying the whole time, AC, that they're a first half team. They're not a second half team.
And then it proved to be
that's
true.
awful.
And then what we didn't talk about is that crazy catch that pretty much gave us a free 3 points.
The knee.
Yes.
Yeah, like people are talking about this Case Keenum fluke. What about that fluke? Imagine if he would have intercepted that, the game pretty much would have been over.
Well, no. Well, we would have got the ball back. We ended up getting a field goal right away.
But they would have got a field goal out of that, probably.
Yeah, no, so we would have been.
It would have been 13-0 at half.
No, there was not much time left. I don't know if they would have got a field goal.
It was like wasn't there like 30 seconds left on the clock?
Okay, 13. Then we would get to 12, but we'd have a minute left. We'd have the ball with a minute left, down one score. Even if they got a field goal,
it would have been close. It would have been a lot closer.
A chance in hell, maybe.
Yeah,
I just don't know how you go up and be like, yeah, I'm gonna catch this ball jumping in the air and it hits off my knee. Like this is odd.
Torrey Smith, the only ones he can catch when they're not even intended for him.
Torrey Smith, he's awful.
He got some yaks after that too. He caught it in stride and
he's become the new Nelson Aguilar. Like it's weird.
He played pretty decent actually.
Trevor Griffin says Kansas City has the best tight end. I hope he means in his division because Gronk obviously is the best tight end. Ultra says another.
Kelsey's not even a tight end. He's a receiver.
Ultra says another AC versus Mitch argument. It's better than the Packers-Bears rivalry.
I hope so.
It's been pretty bad this year.
That hasn't been good in like 20 years.
Well, they did have an NFC Championship game together. Does that count?
Yes.
Yeah, I guess. Jay Cutler sat out the game.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, Armand says his pick is the Eagles and the Patriots. Eagles going to beat the Patriots after their loss in 04.
Nice.
There you go.
Apparently, what were the lines again? Eagles would be 6-point underdogs against the Patriots.
Like that.
Yeah.
It would be a pick-em between the Patriots,
which I disagree with.
That's interesting.
It wouldn't be.
I think it would be a field goal. Honestly, I think it would be 3.
I'd say
But they're accounting for home field advantage.
Oh, true.
Yeah.
That's why.
That's crazy too.
That would be insane. We're really close to having that happen. So we'll see. Ultra says this is towards you, Mitch. Blake Bortles has one more touchdown and only one more interception than Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan obviously is better, and I love him, but Blake Bortles isn't as bad as people say.
That's my point. That's my point. He's
Chris Sims.
One sec.
You're
Chris
watching.
Sims? He is not the 70th best quarterback.
Yeah. Like, stop.
I feel like when they say people say, I think that's just referring to Chris Sims. One sec.
To be fair, he's not the
Trying to find
70th best quarterback. He's like, I don't know.
No, like 50.
No, he's definitely he's like the high 20s or low 30s.
Yeah.
No.
All
right. Let me try and find these stats here.
What stats are you looking here?
Okay. He threw 4. These are his good games this year. He threw for over 300 yards against the Colts, the Texans, who had the worst pass defense in the league, the 49ers, and that's it. He threw for under 100 yards against the Steelers.
Jesus.
He threw for under 200 yards against the Texans. Like, he played no good team.
So basically,
like,
you're
no
saying
good.
he doesn't. All the games they win, he doesn't throw for over 300 yards.
No. He threw for under 200 yards 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times.
Yeah, but they probably had a decent.
I'm just pointing that out there.
No, I know, but I don't
under
think
200 yards.
Yeah, but I'm saying, but like their team's built. Like, what did Fournette do when he?
He's brutal. You have to watch this guy play, bro.
I watched him, man.
You watched him play.
You gotta pause it.
He had one good pass last week.
I don't think that's true. I think he had more than one good pass.
And that was one of his best games of the season last week. Did you watched him against the Bills, right?
I don't know. I think you're only as good as your last game, in my opinion.
How about that Bills game?
Well, I'm saying you're only as good as your last game.
Terrible in the Bills game.
So you're only as good as your last game, and he looked good last week, and you just think that
he threw 87 yards. Like, I that's one thing you can't like deny there. It was against the Bills too. I don't know.
But how many games this year did the Jags lose because of Blake Bortles? Is my question.
For interceptions?
Probably most of them.
Yeah, because of interceptions, not because of lack of yardage. That's what I'm saying. If he can throw for 125. Well, no, but because of interceptions, though, he could throw for 125 and they'd win. If he
but that's not that's a team sport, winning a team game. That's not the quarterback winning.
Yeah, but he still manages the team to win.
Oh God. Okay. All right, continue.
He has the ball in his hands for 50% of the plays.
All right.
And 100% of the offensive plays, except for.
I'm not even going to argue. Continue.
Okay, here's his interception numbers. So because 0 against the Texans, 0 against the Ravens.
They're terrible.
0 against the Ravens, 128.2.
That's impressive.
He didn't even have to play in that game. It was like 100-0.
But you could say the Ravens have a better defense than the Patriots.
Yeah. Colts, 0 interceptions. Bengals, 0 interceptions. 2 against the Chargers, 0 against the Browns, 1 against the Cardinals, 0 against the Colts and the Seahawks, and the Texans. He actually had.
He was amazing against the Texans and the Colts. I'll give him that all day.
And the Seahawks game was pretty good too. Those 3 games this year.
And the Seahawks are decent.
Yeah.
They had no players in that game.
He did make some pretty atrocious throws that game, but still.
He had 1, 2, 3. Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, he was 158 against the Titans.
I guess we'll just leave it there. We'll agree to disagree, and we'll just watch this weekend, and we'll see.
Just watch the game.
What happens. That's what's good.
Well, shade a game. He's got what 100 points.
Bortles plays well, and the Jags win, and boom.
He's got to change his Twitter handle.
Like, my frustration with your argument, Mitch, is anytime he performed, you're like, well, the team around him isn't very good. Like, you're not giving the guy, like, you've given him 0 credit for anything.
No, I said that he played one of his best games against the Steelers like 30 seconds ago.
Yeah, but you also said the Steelers' defense was terrible.
It is.
You've also so it's almost like you're giving.
But that defense played really well against the Patriots.
Yeah, not bad.
No, they had their best game of the season except for one drive.
Maybe.
And talk about a game where you couldn't use your running backs at all. That game.
Lewis played pretty good.
No,
White didn't play.
But look at the numbers.
Burkhead didn't play either.
No, I know, but look at the numbers of catching out of the backfield. That was one of the games where it wasn't great, but you still won.
Lewis scored the game-winning touchdown. I remember that.
Yeah, what they were down. Yeah, but like look at his numbers and catches. They didn't throw to the running backs very much.
They ran though.
No.
All right.
Not enough.
We'll continue. Pat Shermer.
Yeah, but that's a different defense. We're talking about 2 different defenses, 2 different schemes. That's like saying, oh my God, against the Jaguars, I don't know. Doug Baldwin didn't have a good game, but against the Colts, he had a great game.
No, but I'm just saying, like
Doug Baldwin doesn't have those.
The Patriots have struggled against defenses that are not as good as the Jags. Can you admit that?
What?
The Patriots have struggled against defenses that are not as good as the Jaguars.
They didn't struggle against the Steelers. They scored 27 points on the road.
I think at times
in Pittsburgh.
Okay,
in the best game that Pittsburgh played all season.
Dolphins defense,
and they only punted twice.
Okay, Dolphins defense. There is the Jacksonville's defense
Dolphins
better than the Dolphins.
But that's also a rival. That's also a rival game.
Jets.
Okay, are the Chiefs defense?
Buccaneers, Chiefs.
Are the Panthers defense better than this Jaguars defense?
Panthers.
There are.
They lit up the Chiefs.
I'm just saying, but like they still. Okay, how about the Jaguars? I mean, the Panthers. There's games that the Jaguars can look.
Tom Brady had touched.
I know, but I'm just still saying you still lose. Like there's ways to
Pairing. You're trying to say it's the scheme.
I know that.
Or the defense. It's the scheme.
Yeah, I know. I know you got your little numbers with Juszczyk being a beast against the Jaguars 4 weeks ago, and that's why they're gonna win. Because Juszczyk killed it.
All right, yeah. Well, because Juszczyk isn't Gronk last time I checked. So
and that game was 4-0.
I'll take.
All right, we're gonna move on. Pat Shurmur.
Freaking 49ers scored. No, last thing. The 49ers scored 44 points. That's all I'm going to say. Done.
Okay. Pat Shurmur would be a great hire for the Giants, says Tyler. I don't want him to go there, honestly, as a Cowboys fan. But.
I don't think he's very good. He was our offensive coordinator.
I don't think that's a good hire, actually.
I don't think Pat Shurmur's very good at all.
I think that's a terrible hire, actually.
I don't think it would fit with the Giants, but I don't think he's a terrible coach.
I'm just saying. I guess he won 7 games.
I don't think that's that bad.
No, it's not that bad, but I don't think it's like he was.
I don't think it's the best.
He played good with the Browns. It was good with the Browns.
He was the Eagles' offensive coordinator and was crap.
Learned since then.
Maybe he hasn't.
Why are we giving Norv Turner a chance and not a?
Well, we didn't even talk about Norv Turner.
Wait.
No, but like I'm just saying, like, why are we giving all these other guys a chance, but not Pat Shurmur, who had 7 wins with the Browns? Like, at least give him another shot.
I don't mind giving him a shot. I just don't think he's good. That's all.
I don't think it's a good hire for the Giants.
I don't think he's the best fit, but I like him.
Why not, Kev?
Because I don't think he's that great of a coach. Like, I don't think he's a great head coach. Like, look what he did with Cleveland. I don't think it's a good.
That's good what he did with Cleveland, right?
I don't think it's a good fit. I just don't.
Why?
I just don't. I don't think he's.
Okay. I'm just trying to get your thoughts.
I don't think he's the guy. I think he. A lot of this was Zimmer. I don't think that people give Zimmer a lot of credit for what's happening.
That's a good explanation. Zimmer is the guy.
No, it is.
That's what I was looking for.
Has this Minnesota offense really been that great this year?
It's been the best it's been with Zimmer as their head coach.
For sure. But I'm saying that I think that when you draft well and these guys, it's natural progression. I think you put any offensive coordinator in his position and they're doing the exact same thing of what they're doing just because of what the pieces they have and the guys they drafted.
I think he's decent. I don't think he's one of the top candidates, but I think he's decent.
I'm just saying being a head coach, I think is a lot different. I don't think he has a very powerful voice. And
Mike Tomlin does. Look how that worked out. All right.
Are we still like that's the thing? You guys have a weird thing with the Steelers. You're still talking about the Steelers when they're gone.
No, Mike Tomlin. That's just Mike Tomlin.
But they're done.
I haven't brought up the Steelers, though. I haven't said anything.
No, hasn't said anything.
How about this, Mitch?
We didn't say anything about the Steelers.
If the Jags win, Tom Brady's going to be coached by Mike Tomlin in the Pro Bowl.
No, Tom Brady doesn't go to the Pro Bowl.
No, side by side. He'll go this year side by side. Mike Tomlin will be setting up plays. They'll be best friends. They'll be laughing.
He doesn't go to the Pro Bowl, so you're mistaken.
He never has to. No, if he's not injured, he'll go. 100%.
All right.
Kevin Durkant can talk all he wants about Patriots cheating, but whatever. That's what he does every week.
Yeah, we cheat when we like it. There you go.
Apparently they were supposed to go 9-7 in the regular season.
Yeah, that's what he said last video. So,
Vine Hook says Jags and Vikings for the Super Bowl. A lot to scroll through here because I'm just not going to read the same shit. Let's see here. Still got more of these comments. People are saying that, or somebody said that they're going to underestimate Bortles and what he does.
Okay. All right.
We'll see.
If Bortles beats me, I'll live with it.
Chauncey calls Adam an ass clown. Oh, wonderful.
You won't live with Bortles beating you.
No, I'll
No,
be like,
man.
oh well, I guess that's how the Jags have to beat the Patriots. So if that's how they're gonna win, then that's how they're gonna win.
Mitch,
that's the way it's
you went from no chance in hell to be like, I'll be all right with Bortles beating me.
Yeah, come
Yeah,
on.
right.
No,
You've been
because
clowning him. It would be the craziest peak
Oh my
of
God.
just like.
AC, I think you're missing the point. I'm trying to give them I'm trying to say why the Jags would win, not that they have a chance. Why they would win, not why, not that they are going to. Okay.
But if they did, it would be crushing to all Patriots Nation.
Oh yeah, Bortles
Yeah,
wins.
it would
This will be
suck, for sure.
this will be the worst
Like any
loss that
other
they've had in the
playoff
playoffs.
loss.
No, this would be even
This
worse.
would be the
than
worst
because
playoff
of what
loss.
This
you
would not be
said.
worse than a Super Bowl loss. Get the fuck out of here.
It's Bortles.
It's Bortles, man. You know how much
So
you
what?
clown and talk
At least
bad
it
about
would be like, oh, the Jags defense is amazing, and then that's why
Okay,
they
but
lost.
what if Bortles throws for 4 touchdowns and has a great game?
Okay, then it's like, yeah, well, I guess he's good.
No,
One
you'll
game
be
changes the whether
This was
Well,
at the beginning of
and
the season.
also, I guess the Patriots weren't good as I thought.
if it's the defense that shows out against the Patriots, then I'm not going to give the credit
Yeah.
for Bortles. But if Bortles goes out there and throws for 300 yards and 4
you gotta
touchdowns,
give him credit if that happens.
well, then this one's going
Sure.
to be a lot worse. I'm just saying that loss.
And I'm just saying too that like the Patriots fans right now, this is the most confident I think Patriot fans are always confident. This is the most.
No, I was way more confident last week.
No. I'm just saying in a Super Bowl run, looking at the final 4 teams, this is the most confident you would have to be. When you're watching last year, you're watching Atlanta just.
I don't know, man. 2007 was pretty confident. 2014, I was pretty confident, even though the Seahawks were there.
No, but still, it's like, dude, just look at like these.
I was confident last year. I don't know.
I
It's
don't know,
tough.
man. I'm just what I'm seeing. People are like just laughing at every other team that's in the playoffs.
I can only
right
talk
now.
about myself.
No, I know. I'm
I
just
only
saying.
talk about-
But Patriots Nation already, I think, no one wants to say it because they know to do your job. Everyone wants to act like Belichick is their coach in life too. But everyone deep inside,
What's wrong with that? Good role model.
yeah, I guess. Like if you ever talk to him in person, maybe. But yeah, I guess like there's better self-help people out there that probably actually will have better life lessons than just football.
Okay, Patriots hater. All right.
And don't forget the curse. The curse is real and it's going down.
That's the first time he's brought it up in like 2 videos just because they keep winning.
can't believe it.
He's only going to bring it up unless they lose.
No, because you can't talk about the curse until just a couple times. There's rules to curse.
There's rules. It's whenever it helps you.
When it helps me out, it's not helping me out. I'm just saying there's a curse.
But this isn't like Fight Club where you can't bring it up. No, it's just like.
But it's my curse, my rules, Dylan. My curse, my rules, Dylan. Okay. If you want to curse someone else, you can make all your own rules about your own curse.
Spooky, you know. I'm in the dark. That's why.
Dylan, I think curse the E.
Oh, he couldn't even say it. That was my curse. He couldn't even hear it. Dude, it lagged when he said it, dude. My curse.
Lagged, Mitch. What did you say?
He said it. He was just about to say you should curse the Eagles, and then it was like
Eagles.
no, and then it stopped. So curse is not working.
Ultra says, would Atlanta win the Super Bowl if Shanahan was there this year?
Yes,
No.
They would definitely be contenders. I don't know if they would win it.
I think so. I said it last week.
They beat your Patriots?
Yeah.
Okay. Just curious. Let's see here. That's it.
I like bluffing for rent. He likes my joke. I said, want to act like Belichick is their coach in life.
That is it for comments.
That's it? I saw like a million comments there. That's all you got, Dylan?
No. There's like 50 of them were just arguing about how the refs are cheating for your Patriots. I don't think you want to talk about that, do you?
All right.
No, but
that's
it's
Kevin
ref-
Durkant.
But guys, don't worry. Cleat, what's his
Here we
name?
go.
Blakeman. Cleat Blakeman's the ref, and he does not like the Patriots, and he lets guys just like grab Gronk and throw him to the ground with no call. So watch for that.
Oh yeah.
Hug him.
All right. On that note, we are going to leave as this song plays.
That song is good.
What is this?
Oh, there we go.
That's the no chance in hell.
All right, guys. Thank you for
That's
joining
good.
us. You're here today on the Bottom Line View. It's
Go,
Mitch,
Jags, go.
AC,
Go, Jags,
Billy,
go. Go, Jags.
Kev.
Jags,
Go,
Eagles,
We're the
baby.
Bottom Line View. I hope you guys enjoyed.
Go.
Jags,
Go.
no chance in hell. Enjoy the conference championship games this weekend.
Cheers.
Skull.